HTML5 games are one of the best and simplest routes to go if you want to build a game that anyone can play on both PC and mobile devices. Since the games are online, anyone with an internet connection can simply go to your link and start playing your game. And learning how to build these games provides valuable skills that could later on help you land a job or build a career in web development. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a framework called Pixi JS. Pixi JS is a rendering library that lets you create interactive graphics and simplifies the development of HTML5 games. To set up Pixi JS, you can install it as a dependency or add a script tag to your HTML. For the purpose of this video, I'll just be sticking with the script tag. I'll start by creating an index.html file, and I'll add some boilerplate HTML. Then inside of the head tags, I'll add my script tag. Then inside of the body tag, we can add another script tag where we can actually add code to build our PixiJS game. So to kind of explain how PixiJS works, I'll be going through this scratch card demo, pretty cool little demo that makes like a little scratch effect. I'll just be copying the code, and there is a repo where you can download the code and the resources like images that are used here, but I'll just be using my own. As you see here, I have a gray background and a color background image. And we'll just add the code right inside of the script tag. The first thing that we're creating here is a new Pixi application. We're adding it to our HTML with document.body.appendChild. And if you see here, we're specifically adding app.view. Then we're getting a property from app called stage, which is the root display container that's rendered, and we're going to add our textures to it. And here we're preparing our circle texture, which is going to be what the shape of what we scratch into the images. Our brush is a Pixi graphics object, which is just a class that's primarily used to render primitive shapes like lines or circles or rectangles. Now here's where we're loading our resources using app.loader.add. The first property that you see is going to be the name that we reference the resource, and the second property is the path to our resource. So for me, since I added my own images, I would just change this to gray background and my other property to color background. Now in loader.load, we're passing in this setup function, and if we come down here, we see this setup functions passing in the loader and resources. So this first chunk of code that you see here, we're creating a constant background, which is a sprite. And a sprite is the base for all textured objects that are rendered to the screen. And here we're referencing the very first texture, which is our gray background image. We're adding it to our stage, and then we're setting the width and height to the app.screenWidth and app.screenHeight. And this other chunk that creates the constant image to reveal references the color background and our second texture. Next, we're creating a render texture, and what this is, it's a special texture that allows any Pixi display object to be rendered to it. From this render texture, we're creating another sprite called render texture sprite, and then we're again adding it to the stage through stage.addChild. Now this part we're using image to reveal, and we're setting the mask property to our render texture sprite. A mask is an object that limits the visibility of another object to the shape of the mask that's applied to it. Now this part, app.stage.interactive, it allows us to enable interactive events like touch, pointers, or mouse events. And as you see down here, app.stage on pointer down, pointer up, and pointer move, we're binding each one of these events to a function. And we're also declaring a Boolean called dragging to let us know whenever we're dragging either with our finger or the mouse on our screen. Now this first function, pointer move, as you saw up there, is triggered by whenever the pointer is moving, and we're checking to see if dragging is true. And if it is, we're gonna get the position of that event and set our brush to that position. Then we're gonna say app.render.render. We'll pass in the brush, our render texture, and we'll pass in a few other properties that we're not really gonna use. The next function, pointer down, and it sets our dragging to true whenever the pointer is down, and then it just passes this event back into our pointer move function. Then the last function, our pointer up function, is just setting dragging to false. So now to run our Pixi project, I'll be using an extension called Live Server. It's a pretty handy extension that lets you serve HTML files on an open port. And once you install this, it's really easy to run. All you have to do is go to your index.html file, right click, and hit open with Live Server. So your projects are run on an open port, and if you see here, you can try out the scratch effect. It's pretty cool, and it didn't take a whole lot to get working. Another cool tool that I like to use for Pixi JS is a Chrome extension called Pixi JS DevTools. It comes in handy when you're trying to look at different containers or sprites for your Pixi JS project. And if you click inspect, once you install it, you'll have a tab called Pixi. And as you see here, you'll be able to see your container and all your different sprites. There's a ton of properties you can toggle on or off or change the value in, just to help you get a better understanding of what's what in your Pixi project. But that is it for this video. Just wanted to do a quick introduction into Pixi JS. It's a very neat tool. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I'll probably have some more videos on it in the future. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time.